Meeting for February 10th. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Jill.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Moats?
Here.
Mrs. Overland?
Here.
Mr. Rodenberger?
Here.
Mr. Wall?
Here.
Mr. Morton?
Here. At this time, we'll forego the public presentations because of the COVID, unless anybody has a phone in that they wanted to talk about.
No, I've been
Seeing none,
contacted.
we'll move right on down to the treasurer's report, discussion items, number 3.1.
I just have two items on there. The first one is just, I know that the president of the board, which I think is still currently registered to Kathy when this was sent out, but got a notification of the filing of our audit report. So I have a copy of it here if anybody wants to look at it. Otherwise, it is out on the State of Ohio Auditor's website. It came through exactly like the draft. There's no audit citations. There's no management letter. The only thing that's in there is that we don't file full accrual, which is gap filing. So that is out there for everybody. So you're aware that it was released. And then the second thing I have is just letting you know of the school board member accidental death and dismemberment insurance that is available to you through OSBA. I put a copy on your spot if you'd like to take advantage of that for yourself or for your family. All the information is there for you to fill out and send with payment to the address that's on the bottom section. So that's it.
Sounds good, Joe. Thank you. We'll go right on down to the superintendent's report.
All right, just a discussion item, some dates as you're looking ahead. This Friday we have Teacher Professional Development In-Service Day, and we will be going around. I'll be meeting with them regarding our vaccine, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Of course, there's no school for students on Monday, President's Day, so it's a good weekend for families during this beautiful weather that we're experiencing here now. And according to Jay Burschbeck, there's one to watch on Monday night, so sit tight. Hopefully he's wrong again. I'd like to have that job and be that wrong that many times. Ash Wednesday's right around the corner on the 17th, and then we'll be right back here at a school board meeting on the 22nd. The principals will and other directors will have reports for you that evening as well. Likewise Academy update. We met and actually I presented to you on December 11th of 19 about the LifeWise Academy, and we were moving ahead. They were hoping to start that character development program off-site for the start of this school year, and then we entered into a global pandemic which put a halt to that program as well. I met again with Phil Knopsinger, who is the Defiance coordinator for the LifeWise Academy, and they have been working behind the scenes, and we would like to kick this program off next school year. Currently, the two sites that are available for them to offer this program are the Defiance Area YMCA and also the Summit Youth Center, which are both not on our property. And if you recall, there's a religious education component to this, which is able to be done if parents agree to it. And in this meeting with LifeWise, they are also in the process of acquiring some property that is adjacent to Defiance City Schools property. I included that map in your packet. If you give you a reference point, the highlighted 2.49 acres or 94 acres butts up to our access road. You know where our mound of leftover dirt is between the middle school and the elementary school? On the other side of that, there's an open grassy field that is basically one end is behind the bowling alley and the old service master, and the other end is behind the Willow Room and Tim Brown's property line there. So that area of ground, and they are going to be fundraising privately to build a LifeWise Academy building right there on that property, which then gives it better proximity to our students and accessing that. Phil has been an active participant in one of our strategic plan committees in our character and culture development. So it is nice to see that they're progressing. One of the questions that Phil asked me, and I said, I can't speak for the board that directly. He said, at some point in time, would the board ever consider moving board offices out and towards the school property? And I said, well, certainly at some point in time. But I said, the best interest or the best thing I can say to you now is that the board owns a bunch of property in downtown Defiance. If somebody were to come along and offer a sweet deal that turned that into a development opportunity for something else, I think the board would entertain that. He said, I'm asking because as we move forward in expanding of a building or adding on to it, I would be interested to see if the board would be. And I said, I would share that with you. I said, that is far down the line for us to predict, and but you know, it would be a good problem to have if we ever were faced with that. So I thought I would share that with you. We will be coordinating some meetings with Mrs. Held and Mrs. Myers, myself, and the LifeWise, and they actually will build some time into the schedule for the children that want to attend this. And it's a really nice program, and maybe we can get over and see it in action over at, they currently use in this area at Ayersville. Phil shared with me that the executive director of LifeWise, Joel Penton, who is a Van Wert citizen and he originally from there, he sees an opportunity for making the Defiance LifeWise Academy kind of their flagship program, and knowing the mistakes and things that he had to overcome in Van Wert, that he thinks that it could be something very special for us and our children. And I reiterated to Phil, anytime you can put character development in front of a young person and have a another adult to serve as a mentor for young people, we're all for that. So when we get it scheduled, I'll bring the principals in and they can share with you how that would go. And of course, I'd probably bring Phil to a meeting and have him explain to you the process and how they would go about doing it. Okay?
Yeah, Bob, this yellow section of property, now, is that, I'm not clear, is that McCann's or?
Yeah, I believe, yes, that is owned by McCann Properties LLC, I think.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
All right.
And they don't have all the details of that worked out. There's some utility things that they have to, and I just said, hey, let me know when you have it and you're ready to go. And so they're working through that. But it's really, and the key is of its proximity to the board property. So, and there's probably between that property line and our road that connects that, there's probably 40 feet. So it's a good spot. All right. Vaccination update, and hopefully what I tell you today will remain accurate, and we'll proceed with this. I shared with you at our last meeting that we are partnered with ProMedica, Defiance Regional Hospital, and they are our provider of our vaccine. And we had a extensive planning meeting finalizing all of the details yesterday. I'll get my notes out here just so I don't forget to go miss anything. I was pleased that the infection control expert for ProMedica was on the line, and she's in charge of scheduling our vaccinations and the process that it goes through, along with the ones that are currently being administered to people that qualify under 1A and 1B. And she explained the standardized system that their whole medical system uses. She said, I can give it to you by the minute. She said it'll be a 25-minute visit. 10 minutes of it will be when they walk in the door. They'll be screened and assessed, and then they'll sign their vaccination card. They will sign a consent to treat. It gets put in a hopper. And in the basement of the hospital, they have their big conference room set up as their vaccination center. They will have 6 vaccine stations that are semi-private. You'll go in, they'll ask you a few questions, they'll administer your vaccination. And when you're finished, there's a 15-minute wait time. And doing it on site at ProMedica, in the unlikely event of an anaphylactic shock or a reaction to this, they have a full hospital emergency staff on site. So that is kind of how it will work for our staff, and our entire staff will be vaccinated. Anyone who chooses, I want to make that clear, anyone that chooses, this isn't a mandatory thing. will be vaccinated on Friday, February 26th. And I think I shared with you last meeting, I thought that we would be in that range, and that now we're going to be in the planning stages of submitting who, and then they have a scheduler, and it's literally a computer. Once we upload all the stuff into it, it schedules it. Those vaccination times begin at 6 a.m. on Friday the 26th and end at 6:30 p.m. on Friday the 26th. Their goal, they're partnering with us, Central Local Schools and Northeastern Local Schools, and their goal is to vaccinate all school staff members from those 3 districts all on Friday the 26th. Once you've received your vaccination and you're in your wait time, that is not sit and wait. They actually schedule you for your second vaccination. They give you the date and the time, and it's pretty simple. If you get a Pfizer vaccination, you'll be 21 days later at the exact same time. And if it's a Moderna vaccination, you'll be 28 days later at the exact same time. That's a little bit of a wrinkle for us in Defiance City Schools, because if it's a Pfizer vaccination, it's the Friday before our spring break starts. And if it's a Moderna vaccination, it's the Friday that the spring break ends. So I'm sure that will create some hiccups and some travel plans. But I shared that with the folks from ProMedica, and the best thing that I was told is that we have people in our system that weren't sure if they were going to do it and decided after the fact. And because the supply of vaccine is very limited and you're being afforded this opportunity now, the time is now to get it. And if you give them enough time and people can rearrange their travel plans if they have any, we would highly recommend that. If there's extenuating circumstances that happen and people can't make it, they will work with those people to get them into a clinic to get it done. But that is the exception and not the rule. So I will share that with the staff when I meet with them on Friday. Does anyone have any questions? Perfect.
Are they giving them a choice as to which vaccine they're going to take?
No, we will know, Kathy. They will be, how was it described? On Thursday of the week prior to. So, for example, tomorrow, they will be notified of their allotment and what brand it is for their next week's vaccinations. So on the Thursday prior to our vaccination, so that would be Thursday the 18th, they will be told, here's your allotment and here's the brand. And then they get notified on Monday that the shipment will arrive either Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday for them, so for us. And it's typically the health department gets notified first of the allotment, and then they, the hospitals or the administrator of the vaccinations get notified a couple of days later. So right now, and I'll say this, and then tomorrow they'll get a shipment of 10,000 Pfizer. But right now, all of the vaccinations that have come, or vaccines that have come to Defiance County, have been Moderna vaccines. Okay, that doesn't mean it won't change, but that's what it has been. So we will put together with the ProMedica PR team and Defiance City Schools kind of a frequently asked questions, in addition to, you know, the logistics. Where do you park? Where do you walk in? Where do you go in when you're in the building? How many minutes should you arrive ahead of time, etc. One of the things I'm meeting with the principals tomorrow, and we are going to make a determination on what type of school day, if it's going to be a school day, and how that's all going to play out. I think I shared with you at the last meeting, if they can get us all in that day, but it's over that course, it's going to be impossible for us to staff a school building on a day like that with people going in and out. So we'll come up with a good plan. And worst case scenario, we just won't have school that day, and we'll cross that bridge later. So, but I'll keep you posted. I want to give them an opportunity to go over that with me tomorrow. Okay. We have some first readings on policy and administrative guidelines revisions, and if you look at those, a lot of these coincide with the discrimination, anti-harassment changes that we made as a board, and selecting who was in charge of that or who were the hearing officers of that. In addition to that, These are all changes in all of those, the ADA, the controversial issues, the non-discrimination, the investments, that's a Cheryl, post-issuance is a Cheryl. These are all based upon federal law up to this point in time.
The changes are bold, right?
On the overview sheet, the changes are listed, okay, and an explanation of what they are. The one that was interesting, it's now if you have video surveillance and electronic monitoring, we have to notify people that that is taking place. And I said, we have that all on our buses now. Do I have to put a sticker on the bus? Don't know. And I said, well, I'd like to know that so I can notify people of that as well. So there was one that was, where's the one? Oh, the Department of Agriculture and stigmatizing students who do not have money to pay for their lunch and or have low balances, and you cannot stigmatize that. And I thought, well, that we probably shouldn't, but again, it's just an update to that. So any questions on any of those? We will have our second reading February 22nd, and then we'll have our third and final reading and adoption on March 10. All right? Okay.
We'll move on down to number 5, the consent agenda.
All right. Before we move on to 5, I do want to remove, there was an employee or employment issue that we need to move to the 22nd meeting. Under the classified staff, if you would please strike Courtney Fuller. She had some she had some personal issues that she needed to be resolved before we could employ her full time. So we'll bring her back on February 22. So if you would remove that from the consent agenda.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that needs to be removed from the consent agenda? So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of Courtney Fuller?
I'll move on that.
Chris, do I have a second?
I will second.
Kathy? Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Moats?
Yes.
Mrs. Oberlin?
Yeah.
Mr. Rodenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Moving right along to old business. Does anybody have any old business for the school board tonight? Seeing none, I'll move right on down to new business. Anybody have any new business?
Saw that Bob Duff passed away, and I just, wanted to say I knew he was very active, a lot of things at Defiance City Schools, even though he was an Ayersville educator and he had daughters that ran cross country here. I always enjoyed working with him at the track meets. And he'll be sorely missed in those Zoom.
I agree with those sentiments exactly. And a couple of his children are actually employees of the school district as well.
Any more new business? Let's move on down to executive session. We do have a need for executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee.
Make a motion to enter executive session for those purposes?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Oberlin?
Yes.
Mr. Rodenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?